Welcome to literary and jury charge practice. We'll get started with this jury charge. Everybody ready? Here we go. That must be treated as though you had never known it. You must consider evidence that has been presented on both sides, even though it is the duty of the district attorney. Both counsels will present opening statements that are not to be used in making your decisions. Your duty is to determine the truth from the evidence presented in the testimony of the witnesses and other material facts. You are cautioned not to speculate in this regard. In doing so, you must keep in mind that there has been testimony stricken from the record. That testimony is not to be considered in your decision. You must not include this testimony when you are making your decision as to the facts in this case. You must not speculate with regard to what might have been the reason for the objection. As I indicated, you are to get the bailiff to take the question or questions to me. I will answer your questions as best I can. This is a crime involving a business entity. You must consider that a business entity is a person before the law. The crime involves the corporation and more than one party. The parties are the principals in the organization. They are all principals with regard to the crime and principals in the organization. All right, let's see. I think we had a few words in here that we might want to practice. We had speculate, bailiff, entity, a business entity. All right. So let's move on to some literary material. our cheese book. See what's happening with hem and haw and sniff and scurry. Here we go. They didn't find any for some time until they finally went into an area of the maze where they had never been before. Cheese Station N. They squealed with delight. They found what they had been looking for: a great supply of new cheese. They could hardly believe their eyes. It was the biggest store of cheese the mice had ever seen. In the meantime, hem and haw were still back in Cheese Station C, evaluating their situation. They were now suffering from the effects of having no cheese. They were blaming, becoming frustrated and angry, and were blaming each other for the situation they were in. Now and then, Haw thought about his mice buddies, Sniff and Scurry, and wondered if they had found any cheese yet. He believed they might be having a hard time, as running through the maze usually involved some uncertainty. But he also knew that it was likely to only last for a while. Sometimes Haw would imagine Sniff and Scurry finding new cheese and enjoying it. He thought about how good it would be for him to be out on an adventure in the maze and to find fresh new cheese. He could almost taste it. The more clearly Haw saw the image of himself finding and enjoying the new cheese, the more he saw himself leaving Cheese Station C. "Let's go," he exclaimed, all of a sudden. "No," Hem quickly responded. "I like it here. It's comfortable. It's what I know. Besides, it's scary out there." "No, it isn't," Haw said. "We've run through many parts of the maze before, and we can do it again. I'm getting too old for that," Hem said, "and I'm afraid I'm not interested in getting lost and making a fool of myself. Are you? With that, Hawes' fear of failing returned, and his hope of finding new cheese faded. All right, any words in here that we might want to work on? Evaluating, frustrated, uncertainty, All right. Let's get back to a little jury charge. Here we go. Oh, let me just take a quick look here. See if there's any words in here. We have police officer, police officers, credible, testimony, verbatim, as in verbatim transcript, which is what you will be doing, a verbatim transcript when you're a court reporter, meaning everything is word for word, exactly what was said. All right, let's try this one. Here we go. He indicated he could not figure out why the testimony differed in the two portions of the transcript. He indicated that he thought that the court reporter could have been in error. It could have been that he had not read the report well enough. He indicated that he was required to work additional hours at that time, giving that as the reason why he didn't have time to read all of the testimony. He indicated that he didn't know why the testimony differed. He asked if he could have some time to look at the statements that he was supposed to have made. The attorney let him look at the transcript in court. The police officer's lack of credibility was so noted by the court. The police officer's lack of credibility was a problem. He indicated that the police officer was responsible for the testimony that did not match. At one point during the trial, the defendant's attorney asked for a directed verdict based upon the fact that the evidence in the case did not seem to point to the defendant's guilt. The fact that the police officer had conflicting testimony in both his own verbatim transcript and in his testimony in court was reason enough for the defendant's attorney to ask for a directed verdict. He indicated that the police officer did not provide a credible transcript. The case was supposed to be based upon the testimony of the police officer. If there were errors in the transcript, as claimed by the police officer, those errors should have been found prior to the police officer signing the transcript. He was responsible for reading and signing the record. Any police officer should know that it is his duty to find any errors of fact that were made in the testimony, and that he should not have signed the prior testimony until such errors in the verbatim transcript were noted. Any police officer should know that it is important to provide a consistent testimony. The police officer used an excuse, saying that he did not have enough time to review the verbatim transcript. It was pointed out to him that he had the amount of time that everyone was given under the law to review the testimony. All right, I hope that went well for everyone. Actually, I think we had pretty much, covered the words that might be challenging. We had verbatim, directed verdict, testimony. So good words to practice. All right, well, thank you. This will conclude our jury charge and literary practice. Thank you again.